Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Well. For this video, I have about, or to be more exact, 5 topics. The first one has to do with Russia creating a new kind of drone that cannot be jammed. So, unjammable drone. And they will use fiber optics. I don't know exactly how that really works, because that drone is supposed to be attached to some, cords, how do you want to call them, and fly, and you can't intercept it. So that's the first topic. I want to discuss that one. It's something new, and the Ukrainians cannot destroy them. Their electronic warfare systems cannot jam them. Therefore, they're going to hit the targets. Another topic, we're going to find out how many missiles, glide bombs, and drones Russia launched in 7 days. Only 7 days. And that's a big number. I made a video a minute ago with a massive record number of Ukrainian drones launched on Russia on the 31st to the 1st of September, so 31st of August, 1st of September. About 140-some, 50-some drones were intercepted by the Russians, over 15 oblasts. Go and watch that video for details. Russia relocates troops from Pokrovsk front, the way that they are just marching west, and they will relocate it to Kursk Oblast, not to stop the invasion, the NATO invasion or Ukrainian invasion, however you want to call it, but to actually push the enemy back. Did you know it was a secret meeting between NATO and Ukraine in Dresden, Germany? Well, I'm pretty sure there were many meetings, but they met secretly, plus the arms manufacturing companies. So when they say we're not implicated, we're not involved actively, well, I don't think so. And the Russians did what? They are changing their nuclear doctrine in response to the West's actions, escalatory actions. Now you can say, no, secret meeting. That's the secret meeting is just the cherry on the cake. It's not the whole thing, because the whole thing is each and every weapon sent to Ukraine is an escalation. And, the logistics and everything else, money and political support and pressure on other countries to support willingly the West. The West being mostly 2 countries and the guys that are actually in control of those countries. All right, let's start with this one. This is from Business Insider. All right, this is from the 31st of August 2024. Russia's exploding unjammable drones probably won't be the end-all game changer in this strange Ukraine war arms race. No, if this would have been done by the Ukrainians, I guarantee you the title will be very different than this one. They might not be a game changer, but I guarantee you these guys don't like that a bit. So let's go and continue reading the article. It says here that this is not a fiber optic drone, obviously, but think about this. This is used in Russia and Ukraine. Now, if someone gets this thing right here, and I think these are available now on the market, that could come and haunt the Europeans and the Americans. So, as I said before, and I will keep saying it, once this war is over, regardless who wins and who loses, there will be bad actors over there, organized crime, that will have this. They will have this kind of weapons, and they could settle scores in a criminal way with politicians, institutions, organizations, NGOs, how do you call those guys? VIPs, personalities, and so on. It's not hard. It's not hard to have that. I mean, look how simple it is and how cheap it is. I mean, be careful. This guy's going to be armed with thousands. Thousands of this kind of weapons were provided to the Ukrainians. The Ukrainians it's a black market over there. Don't fool yourself. Don't kid yourself. Don't kid yourselves. Russia's fiber optic drones are the newest adaptation to preventing signal jamming and electronic warfare. I'm pretty sure the The other side will invent them in no time, not invent them, copy them in no time. But the wired drones bring their own complications, and they may only be useful in certain situations. Correct, you can't go 3,000 miles with a wire behind you. The drone arms race continues to push both Russia and Ukraine to develop and counter new capabilities at speed. Not these guys, Russia and everybody else in the West. Russia's using newer drones guided by fiber optic cables that make them immune to the kind of signal jamming and electronic warfare that's plagued both sides' use of unmanned systems. The latest adaptation is unmanned warfare isn't necessarily an end-all game changer, though. Rather, the wire drones are most likely just another evolution in the ever-expanding drone arms race, and the arms manufacturing companies will have a lot of orders to complete between Russia and Ukraine. Rarely in war is something a true silver bullet. An atomic bomb is a silver bullet. In 1945, it was a silver bullet for anybody. So you said right. Is something rarely. That's correct, rarely. I'm not saying this is. No, it's not going to be. But it's very interesting. Very interesting. The Russians developed. Hey, I thought the Russians are baboons, kind of. No? No, they're Europeans. Oh, you don't like that? Well, I do. All right, let's go to the next article. Ukraine form. Look at this guy. Oh, Churchill is back. Look at this little fucker right here. An actor right there. Anyway, and he has to defend the Ukrainian nation because the Ukrainians themselves are incapable. But he, with Moses himself, will do that. Over 160 Russian missiles, 780 glide bombs, 400 drones launched at Ukraine over a week. 160 Russian missiles, that's a lot. 780 glided bombs, that's a lot. I think that's even more than damaging than the Russian missiles. But you can't go too far with them. You can't launch them too far because they're gliding. So you have to go high in the air, obviously over your territory, and then release them, and they will just gonna glide, obviously. I can go 20 miles, I think, 40 miles, but you can go like a missile. I don't know, 500 miles if it's a good missile. And then we have 400 drones, that's not a lot at all, launched at Ukraine over a week. Why do I say it's not a lot? Because I'm not promoting this destruction, but I'm analyzing this. Remember when it was the Second World War? You don't compare with the Second World War. This is, I will have to say it, compared with the damage and the thousands. Look at the Dresden. You want to look at the damage of Dresden by the Allies? This is little kids playing in the dirt game compared with that in a week. Those guys did it in a day. It's true that Dresden did not happen every week, but still, they blown the whole city down. Civilian city, mind you. Oh yeah, there were the V1, V2 of London and Coventry, wasn't it? Compare those damages, which they say, well, they're all faulty, they didn't hit their targets. Compare that with these guys, they're all bad. Let's put it mildly. Let's go to the next article. Coming from Ukrainska Pravda, Russia relocates several units from Pokrovsk front to Kursk Oblast. So this is the Kursk Oblast, obviously, the incursion of the NATO-Ukrainian troops, which you can see on this map is right here. The Russians do not show it too much, but hey, you can figure it out. It's right there, and these guys show it like this. I'm not going to debate the lines or whatever it is. The problem is, or the issue is, analysts, because it's anal, right there, you see? At the Institute for the Study of War have pointed out that the Ukrainian Defense Forces operations in Kursk Oblast had put pressure on Russian operations in every sector of the combat zone, and that Russia has likely relocated several units from Pokrovsk front to Kursk Oblast. So if you guys get to Moscow, these guys will do what? Exactly that. That is, Russia will change nuclear doctrine due to West's actions in Ukraine, official says, and they're not kidding. So let's go back to this one and see if they tell us how many. The Institute for the Study of War, not trustworthy institute, just so you know. Why? Because one of the Nuland relatives is over there, Victoria Nuland. Keegan, look over there, who's in charge. The ISW recalls that Russian sources, including social media users, claimed on 14 and 17 of August that at least a company of Russian 15th Motorized Rifle Brigade, two combined arms army, Russian Central Military District, had moved from Pokrovsk to Kursk Oblast, and the Russians are still advancing over there. So let's see these guys. Rather, NATO and Ukraine held two top-secret Dresden meeting. But hey, the NATO is not involved in this whatsoever. So let's see. What about this top-secret Dresden meeting? It was secret. I don't think it was secret that the meeting occurred. Maybe it was secret what was discussed, which I strongly doubt the Russians did not have ears in the room. And when I say ears, is more than two on one person. Why? My friends. Look at this. If you know anything about the Cold War, about the spying game, for instance, you will find out that over and over again, the Soviets, you should punch me in the face right now. Punch me. I said Russians. The Soviets had this advantage over the Americans' spying methods. I was about to say it again. The Soviets had the human spying networks that were much more developed and better than the Americans. The Americans had technology. They were listening to with technology, but not too many people will spy from those countries for them. Remember the Rosenbergs or whatever? That's only one example. And many of these guys said, well, because of the ideological issues. So it's well known that the Russians had very well infiltrated people in all kind of structures, and they were getting the information, right? But the other ones had electronic, transmissions, virtual, and all that. That was a big difference between the West, or the Americans, and the Soviets in those times. So now, I'm 99.9% certain the Russians knew each and everything that was discussed in this secret meeting. But I picked this one not because it was what is discussed in there, but this is to show you that these guys are involved, and then that's the reaction. That would be the reaction. And this is not an escalation, even though the Russians call it that way. Because of your escalation, we will do this and we will change it. So the gathering organized by Berlin featured a display, a German military hardware, Rheinmetall, who doubled its profits in the first quarter of this year, if I remember correctly. Top-ranking military officials from NATO member states and Ukraine gathered in the German city of Dresden for secret talks this week, Bild has claimed. The host country reportedly used the opportunity to tout its arms manufacturers' latest innovations. Earlier this month, Germany's leading defense company, Rheinmetall, announced that it had nearly doubled its operating profit in the first half of 2024. It's coincidental. It's just a resultant of the war. They have nothing to do with anything and how the war started. The Russians invaded unprovoked. That's the line, okay? We know that. Okay, baboonish. The arms giant said the Ukraine conflict was among the factors that significantly improved business performance. No squat. In an article on Thursday, Bild reported that ground forces commanders of 35 European nations, that's all you got, Al Capone's plantation, as well as Ukraine and the US, had gathered for a closed-door meeting in Dresden, believed to have run from Tuesday through Thursday. According to German tabloid newspaper, the event was shrouded in secrecy, with heightened security measures in place over spying concerns. Okay, among the topics discussed were NATO's new operational areas in Sweden and Finland, which both joined the US-led military bloc within the last 18 months, as well as threat analysts and lessons learned from the Ukraine conflict, the paper reported. So again, they displayed German defense, My point here is, when you have NATO with a country in a meeting, secret meeting, and you say we're not involved in fighting Russia for a defeat, as they call it. I can't remember the name. What's the name? It's tactical defeat or something like this. It's just they want to destroy and disband Russia, or destroy it and break it in 5 pieces or 4 pieces, and then you deal with 4, 5, or tyrants that would cooperate with you. No democracy at that point anymore. We don't need it. You do what we tell you. We don't care what you do in your country. Oh, you say you don't like us. Oh, you don't have a problem with this. We have a problem with that. Even if you're a democratic state. Remember Ukraine in 2014 with Viktor Yanukovych, the democratically elected president of Ukraine with a democratic system, legitimate. He was overthrown, and the next day when he left, what did the Americans do? They recognized the usurpers, the guys who overthrew illegally through a bloody coup. So they like democracy? No, they don't care about that. They're just for baboons to believe, yeah, man, it's a freedom and democracy. That's what we do. Not even that. All right, let's go to the Russia will change. That's certainly right here in the future. It's an event that will occur in the future. It's about it. It's like a given. It's not like could, would, might. It's already given, and they're working at it. Change nuclear doctrine due to West actions in Ukraine. We're not involved. You are organizing these guys. What are you talking about? Let's don't BS. Russia will make changes to its nuclear doctrine in response to the West actions over the conflict in Ukraine. The TASS state agency, they have to say state. BBC is not state. No. It's just, it's not, it's just partly, but not the same thing. News agency cited Deputy Foreign Minister Sergei Ryabkov as saying on Sunday, and let's see what exactly he said. And I'm quoting, "The work is at an advanced stage and there is a clear intent to make corrections," end quote. He said the decision is, and I'm quoting, "connected with the escalation course of our Western adversaries," not partners. Good job, Ryabkov. You told it the way it is. And let's see what Ukrainska Pravda reports on the same subject. Russia to change its nuclear doctrine in response to West, quote-unquote, escalation course. The same Ryabkov right here. And this is about the West. But who's the West? We know who the guys are in charge of the West. It says the time of completion of this work is a rather complicated issue, given the fact that we are talking about the most important aspects of ensuring our national security. Now, what they say here, in this article is very, very interesting. It's at the beginning, but I think it's the other article. The beginning, this guy, whoever wrote this, let's see, we have a name here. No, yeah, Reuters is the name. They tell you about the doctrine, but they are lying by omission. Why? I'm going to show you. Right here. Russia's existing nuclear doctrine, set out in a decree by President Vladimir Putin in 2020, says it may use nuclear weapons in the event of a nuclear attack by an enemy or a conventional attack that threatens the existence of the Russian state, That's it. But you can say whether it's in relation with Ukraine, and that's what we're talking about. But no, the doctrine has more little stipulations, and one of them is this. In one of our allies, let's say Iran, is attacked with conventional force or nuclear weapons, we're also going to activate our nuclear doctrine. So if or when Americans are going to start bombing for our freedoms, Iran, then the Russians could say we're going to activate the doctrine, the nuclear doctrine. We're going to nuclear doctrine protocol, whatever. We're going to activate it. Let's put it this way. Zip it. Shut the fuck up. So does it mean or Syria? They just make it a little bit flexible, tolerant. Yeah, the Russians become more tolerant. That means they're going to be more inclusive. That means they will include more options, more scenarios. And if you continue to escalate, I think that's going to go, and there's going to be more inclusive. Putin will be more flexible, tolerant. Say, hey, how included this scenario, this, and this, and this, and this, and blah, 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 and the Americans will say, hold on. Too late, baby doll. All right, let's move to the last article, which was, this thing goes in a bad direction. Now, I don't know if the Ukrainians' latest achievements, or let's say the NATO latest achievements, which are at least attacking the Russian territory and striking Russian territory with weapons and drones, and they're all manufactured by Ukraine. If you're a baboon, you can believe that. And by the way, attack MS missiles will be approved by the Americans to be used by the Ukrainians on Russian territory. It was that Umerov, the defense of what do I have here? Nothing. Umerov, the defense minister, the Tatar Ukrainian defense minister of Ukraine, obviously visited Washington D.C. and he provided the Americans, the Pentagon and Americans, whomever is in charge, not the presidency, they say the presidency, with about 254 targets that they could hit, like airfields and military targets only, to be able to hit the Russians if they are given the green light by the bosses, by the masters. But hey, the other guys are not involved. I mean, you have to do so much mental gymnastics not to say, but it's illogical here. You tell me the Russians will invade Europe, but then you tell me the Russians show their hollow military capabilities in Kursk. So now you're gonna make up, does Russia have a war machine or it's a piece of shit? You have to tell me if the Russian weapons are fantastic, therefore we should be afraid, or no, we take them off like, it's a fly, pack. So it's inconsistency in their reporting. I'm pretty sure there's both, but it's depends on the situation. Yes, in Kursk and Belgorod, whatever there was, Belgorod, they had these guys advanced. That's a fact. The Russians transferred troops. Does it mean they don't have anymore? No, they don't want to expand. They don't want to rock the economic and the social boat in their country. The Russians, if they want, can tomorrow issue a general mobilization with 30 million men only. Don't you think they don't have weapons for those guys? If they really want, they can go to the Atlantic Ocean. They have nuclear weapons. What are you talking about? Oh, we have to inflict a strategic defeat of Russia. Right? Not tactical, strategic. So yeah, do you think the Russians cannot end this tomorrow, like the Americans end the Japanese crazy opposition during the Second World War? I guarantee you that. I'm 99.9% if the Russians not give an ultimatum, just do something like, let's give them an ultimatum, the other guys we're going to be in high alert, and the Russians do that in Ukraine, I guarantee you the Western countries will just talk and they will threaten and threaten. What are you going to do? Reciprocate? I don't think so. But nevertheless, I don't push for that. But how can Russia lose? Russia can destroy all these guys, all of us if it wants. Not even sending their missiles to reach targets in the West. Just detonating their missiles on their freaking territory. This globe would explode. And if it not explode, you're going to have so much nuclear ashes and so on, the aftermath. And so you'll be incapable of sustaining life. What are you talking about? They don't have to even hit London or New York or New York or whatever. No, they don't have to. If they're so crazy as they're portrayed sometime. But these guys seem to be, well, rational, limited, special military operation. That's why the Russians don't call this a war. The war would mean general mobilization, and you guys will be screwed in no time. That's my assessment. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.